Yes, beautiful people, we are back. Hope everyone is well and of course literally doing well. The character that I've picked today is of course the Watcher. And before we get into the breakdown of what the Watcher symbolizes in regards to me and you, I wanted to give you basically a snippet of his origin story, which is, or their origin story because they're a race, species. A very quick origin story just so we understand each other and you get more of an understanding of where I'm actually taking this breakdown too. So this comes from Wikipedia, and basically, there we go. The Watchers are one of the oldest species in the universe and are committed to observing and compelling knowledge on all aspects of the universe. The policy of total non-interference came into existence due to a former well-meant attempt by the Watchers to bestow advanced knowledge to the Procilians, who used the nuclear technology gained to create weapons and destroy themselves. When the Watchers returned to Procilius, the survivors blamed them for causing the catastrophe by giving the Procilians nuclear technology before they were ready for it. The Watchers then took a vow never to interfere with other civilizations. So two words I want you to focus on: observing, which is observation, and basically knowledge. So what that breakdown basically tells me is metaphysically speaking, the Watchers actually symbolize the mind and the thoughts. And you're thinking, but how and why? Now, the Watchers have observed civilization. They've observed everything. They've observed civilizations going to war, being at peace. They've observed every Marvel character. They know all of the history within the Marvel comic book, of course, universe. And of course, we saw the Watcher with Stanley, RIP, on Guardians of the Galaxy, which means they've also observed the whole history of the MCU. Now, observation is stillness of thought. When you observe something, when you're in the observation, thought ceases, thinking ceases, and that's how the true meditation kicks in. Because when you observe, there is no emotional attachment. There is no judgment of who or what you're actually seeing. There's only the detachment of you actually observing into that particular energy of that person or that thing that you're actually observing. Through the observation, which is what the Watchers have been doing for centuries, they gained knowledge. What is knowledge? Anytime you read a book, watch a movie, talk to somebody for the first time, what happens is through that observation basically of the book, through that particular person, through that conversation, you're observing it and there's nothing there. But when you start to read and you have that experience with that particular person or that book or that scenario, the experience now gets catalogued basically into what? Knowledge, memory, and thought. So basically now everything that you think of is always set in the past, because the observation, which had no thought, has been tainted with thought. Meaning you can never see that person read that book. You could never experience that experience from the first time you experienced it without basically thought, unless you know how to observe that particular scenario of where thought basically ceases. So with the Watchers, basically, they are thought and they are absence of thought. The dope thing about the Watchers is when they've actually catalogued those experiences as knowledge, time, memory, and thought, they've catalogued it, but they haven't held on to the experience. They haven't said, oh man, the Hulk smashes this, or oh man, Spider-Man just beat up like Venom. They don't hold the emotional experience, which means they don't actually hold that particular experience in. What do? They go through the experience. They just continue to go to the next thing and just observe and observe. So they never get hindered basically by that particular energy, which always allows them to go deep and to observe more, which is really dope. They understand the observation and they understand basically thought. They have so much knowledge that they can access so much knowledge at any particular time and show you the full scenario of what happened in that particular moment, because they understand how to, even though thought is set in the past, they understand how to tap into that silence of observation and bring forth the information and give you every detail and push that forward basically and actually make you understand it. So for example, when they understand that when you have observation, when you have silence, in that stillness of silence, thought ceases. And within that silence, enlightenment or consciousness rushes up, and they can bring forth any type of information because they understand how to live in the moment where there is no time and space, but also utilize thought, which is set in the past, to pull the information forward and use thought to break it down and give it literally to you in any way they see. Through, as we've seen the Watchers, we see like they project and show you an actual movie or a scenery of what actually happened, which is kind of dope because they're actually tapping into basically the observation of what they actually catalogued throughout the centuries through their mind. And it's just the observation of it all. And bringing it down to us, this is what we actually do on a daily basis. When we go out for the first time, to say, for example, let's say, for example, we go to someone's house for the first time. We walk through the doors and we're like, wow, this is nice, man. And that's the observation. Your observation isn't tainted. It's everything is being observed for the first time. But through the colors of the house, through seeing different people, through seeing the TV, through what you see, you now experience basically that particular experience, and then you take it in, you catalog it into time, into basically knowledge, and of course into thought. So it's really, really interesting because the difference between the Watchers and basically us is we hold on to our experiences, which give us emotional attachment. They give us disbalance. We create sometimes addictions or appetites basically upon the experience that we've actually catalogued, and not understand that even that the word experience actually means to move through. So that's pretty much the difference between us. They understand how to navigate through thought, through the observation, to yes, catalogue the experience, but not to hold on to the emotional attachment, which will cause them blockages and energies, which will distort their experiences in regards to in regards to holding on to them basically. So it's crazy in a nutshell, and I hope everyone's kind of understood what I basically have said. If anyone gets confused, please let me know. All I'm trying to say is through their experiences, they don't hold on to the emotional aspect of it. They navigate through it, and that allows them to actually utilize more of their mind, because if their mind was so polluted with thought, and they did not understand how to catalog those thoughts without actually keeping on to the emotional attachment or experiences, they could not relay any type of information, because all there would be rampant thoughts and no observation and no stillness and balance of mind. So again, to us, when we are balanced, when we still our thoughts, we are grounded, we are peaceful, we are happy, and we are healthy, because healthy thoughts produce a healthy mind, produce a healthy body. When you're balanced and grounded within, it reflects your physical makeup and reflects your literally, of course, environment. And of course, if you want to still your thoughts in meditation, very, very simply, all you have to do is close your eyes. As soon as the rampant thoughts come in, most people will say, block your thoughts, focus on this thought, focus on this part of the body, focus on the mind, like fight your thoughts. You don't want to do any of that, because that causes more distraction and irritation. As I'm closing my eyes now, as my thoughts come in, all I do is watch and observe the experiences that have been catalogued from the day that I was born to now. So I watch my thoughts. I don't have any emotional attachment, any emotional judgment. I don't judge myself. I just observe the thought, because what people do is when you add the judgment of the thought, you start to add dialogue. I hate this person. Why did I do this? Why did I do that? And then you add more energy to that thought. But when you actually just observe the thought quietly, with no judgment, no emotional attachment, you start to detach from that thought. And what happens when you detach, you realize that your thoughts start to diminish. When you observe and you watch, your thoughts become quieter and quieter and quieter, until basically your mind becomes literally quiet. And that's how you start to bring real information and consciousness and actually start to become the Watcher, because you are the Watcher. And the reason you are the Watcher is because you watch everything, basically you watch everything around you. You're watching me. You watch people when they go to work. You watch movies. We watch everything. Everything is the observation. So you are the watcher. You are the observer. And you are the thinker, which is your thoughts. So that being said, I hope everyone is well and of course literally doing well. Hope everyone has enjoyed this breakdown of The Watcher, because I truly have. As always, make sure you smash that subscribe button. Of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, because I'm adding this to YouTube also, smash the YouTube subscribe button and join me on my daily YouTube, Instagram journey. I'm also going to be adding this to the podcast too. Really am. With that being said, I hope everyone is well and of course literally doing well. If you have any questions on this series that I've put on, anything, feel free to drop your comments down below, DM me, and we can talk. So that being said, you are the watcher, which is the observer. You are the thinker, which is your thoughts. You're the doer, which is the physical aspect. You're always doing stuff. And you are the knower, the higher aspect that knows everything that I've basically said. But the reason people might find it hard to ingest and understand and overstand in what I'm saying is because you're thinking. You're thinking, which is causing stagnation, irritation, and division and fragmentation literally within the mind. What you want to do is inquire. You want to discover. You want to observe this video. Observe this video. Observe it. Take me in. Take the information in. And through your observation, through your inquiration, or through the way you inquire, and inquire means to go within, you will find the question to your answer, because you are the impeccable question manifested in the realms of matter, which is another metaphysical story. That being said, peace out. Thank you for joining me. Catch you guys and girls in a bit. Peace.